What's your take on apprentice-master relationship in today's world?
I mean, I think we've seen that degrade a bit, where not part of it's the work itself, and part of it is the way we are as an industry. We're in shortage of people. And when I think about it, the difference between a journeyman and a last step apprentice is ability to train. And I think at some point no one says that's your job as a journeyman is to train. And I never hear that much. And I do think that's an important aspect, and the responsibility of a JL is to train. And we should say it and be happy and be proud. Be proud of that, and be proud of the person that, because really the future of the industry is the person that's the craftsman today in their ability to train. And always, if you think about it like a tree trunk and how it gets bigger where the roots go deeper. And like, I think I can go back to North Houston and think about the 3 people that were there, and now all the people that are there today somehow are tied to those 3. I had this argument with my father. He would say, well, the kids are soft and they don't know what the hell they're doing. The game changed. Well, is that on them or is that on us? Because if we're not teaching them, they don't know. And I think we all get busy in life. And if you go back and look at what you taught your kid, did you teach them to change the oil? Did we show them how to start a mower? Did we? No, because lots of times we were too busy, or we were on a job, or we were working 7 days a week. So I think about it like that. It's on us. Like, we have to think differently. I think these pre-apprentice programs will certainly help the trade. The kids that come through there on our pre-apprentices, they're 90% likely to be a craftsman. That says something. The industry's in 50.
Yeah.
So I do think that makes a difference, and we should all invest in that. One of the reasons my father with Power Company is because they decided that if you didn't have a college education, you could only get to an operations director. You couldn't go to a VP anymore. You couldn't go to a COO anymore. You couldn't be a CEO. I disagree. Firmly disagree with that. And I think we give you every opportunity as a craftsman to be every bit as good as a guy from Harvard. They're treated probably better than the guy from Harvard, honestly. And I know that can happen. I'm watching it. And we want to make sure we instill everything with our people and make sure we identify the people that want to do it, for one. I mean, not everyone wants to do it.
100%.
But some people want to move up. And we want to make sure you can either you can go to Energized Services and, bare hand 500 if you want, or you can be the CEO if you want. It's a choice. And if we say that our nucleus is built around craft skill labor, then is it or not? And like, we got to put our money where our mouth is. And I'm not up here just saying it and like it looks good. Oh, it's fun. We're just going to placate to craft and say, oh yeah, no. It's very serious. And we want to make sure that the craft of this country is the nucleus of Quanta. I remember it vividly. My father, he'd buy a new pair of shoes and have slacks on his suit. It was nothing for him jumping in the mud.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I always took that approach. That's all I know. Get in the mud. And I think I want to fight the fight with everyone and not be like sitting up here and these glass windows do nothing. There's only 400 people here at corporate, and hey, it's a great place. I love what we do here, but I would say where it's at is in the field, and where I prefer to be is out in the field and fighting the fight. It's something that I think if you want to move up, anyone can do it. Here, it's just work and want to. And I tell my sons the same thing, because I don't that they should be given nothing. They got to come early, stay late, and learn every day. And the more they learn, the more that they make themselves invaluable. It's the guy that gets the coffee the fastest every morning for the superintendent. Do you think he's not going to talk to you?
Yeah. Yep.
But if you come in 5 minutes before it starts, he's too busy. If you come in an hour before and give him coffee, what are you going to learn that day?
Yeah.
I was always taught to come in early, learn as much as I could. And I think those lessons and the mentors I had, John, my dad, many, many others that have helped me along the way, learn the business, learn the public side of the business. They did it because, we were there. I wanted to learn, and they were willing to teach. And I really try to make sure I'm doing the same. And I ask all of our people to get someone under you that wants to learn and teach them, because your legacy is not what you do, it's what you leave behind.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that. And even with Quanta, for young people getting into the trade, it's invaluable to get that experience. Like I can't say it enough. Like, take the time to get the experience, and the fruits of your labor will come if you just take the time to learn. And it's hard. Like, hey, look, you can YouTube how to do line work, right? Just go try it. You can probably figure it out until you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Until you have to stand there,
Exactly.
tie a knot, turn around, tie the same knot.
Exactly. And so you can't just YouTube everything. So we really have to think about, how do we teach? Do we teach a little different? We're also talking about competency-based things and things like that I don't know where I'm at on it. We're working on different things to try to expedite certain things, but it's invaluable for the time in the field. When we say world class, what does that mean? Like, when we say who's the best, my dad and I used to talk about who the best was, and sometimes it's not the fastest.
Yep.
And, just because that guy's the most productive, it didn't mean he didn't tear up every piece of equipment we had, and his incident rates were through the chart. We used to value that a lot more than we do today, where, like, sometimes you have to look at the whole thing, and, how are they teaching the next guy? So I think it's a big process, and, we're going through things now to where, are we incentivizing a foreman to top someone out? Are we incentivizing a foreman to let his head lineman go be a foreman? Are we? I doubt it. So should we? How do we do that? Because if I'm a foreman and I have a great head lineman, I really don't want to let him go. And my job's a little easier every day if I gotta get one.
Yeah.
And so those things we gotta come to grips with that as a company and as an industry, and how do we incentivize it?
Yeah, because it's tough for that. It's tough for that foreman to let that person he trusts go, right? And just trust that he's gonna what is he gonna get from the hall or from wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I always say, if the second you can find someone to do your job, it frees you up to do a bigger job.
Correct.
And I think we all need to think through that. And if I can find someone to do my job, then I can probably move up to the next level. And that's how I look at it.
Why should the country be paying more attention to craft labor or blue collar as something viable?
Well, I would say this is a blue collar company at the heart, and you just outperformed Apple for the last 7 years. So what are we?
There you go.
I mean, I look back on it and say that you were valuable, and we built it. We together have built the company into something that much different than it was 10 years ago. We're solution providers. We're doing the things that are smart, and it should allow everyone to hopefully everyone's gotten better and better wages, and we're safer. I feel like we've made huge strides in it, and I watch it every day, but I do think the strides that we made over the last 10, we can make the same strides over the next 10. And I would say blue collar may turn into white collar, and the white collar of the world may, with what you're doing with AI and some of the things like that, I'm not sure I've seen anything that can set a pole in the backyard yet. I'm not sure I've seen anything that can wire a 3-pot bank up yet. So until I see that, I think we got a long way to go. The craft's going to be valued, continue to be valued more and more, and we just got to be patient with it. And always say, greedy hog chokes. Stay right down the middle, and we'll treat everybody right. And as long as we do that, the runway is long, and everyone's going to do very well.
Why is safety important?
Look, I mean, safety to me, it's my job. I like to get everyone home every day, and I feel it. And it's no different than driving your car or anything else. I mean, you're not going to get there that much faster driving 5 miles an hour more. It's just not gonna matter. But I do think, to me, it's not. It's just getting these families home every day. I know I've seen too many incidents where leaving children without a dad. I'm not doing that. Like, I don't want to do that. And I want to make sure that's what we do as a company. We don't take chances, shortcuts. There's nothing more important than getting home to those families every day. Nothing. And, having fought cancer and everything else, thinking about leaving my children, I can't say it enough, is like we value that, and we should always invest in it. I think the investments we've made, and I know we're doing some things with driving where it'll be controversial. I'm fine with that. We're not trying to fire anybody. We're having problems with wrecks and vehicle accidents and things like that. We're hurting people. So you're forced to take every advantage. We know that what the data says when you put cameras in a truck. It says we're going to get 60, 70% safer. I'm sorry, that's what it says. Look, we get 60, 70% safer without cameras. I'm happy to take them out. I don't care. I mean, but if anything that we can do as a company to make sure, and it's an investment, and it's not cheap. AEDs, we're probably $40 million into AEDs. And we didn't have to do that. But if I'm not going to invest in my people, and we're not going to invest in AEDs, we've saved 35 lives, internal, and then more on the public. What's that worth? I get asked that all the time. Well, how much? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. But that investment in our people has to be done, and I want them home every day. If you want to be a brain surgeon, you have to go and work on people's brains, right? If you want to go and energize services, you've got to go work on and practice, and not practice, but train on energized conductor. And if you can never do it in a format, so that facility, we're real proud of that, and all the people that are out there and what they've done. I do think they are the brain surgeons of line work, and I think we can teach, as far as you want to go in the trade, up, we can get you there, and then from there, like, where can you go? You can take my job, but wherever you want to go, those facilities and how we get people in the trade. It's not CAS test. You hear about aptitude tests and things like that. We know characteristics of kids in inner cities or kids on farms and anywhere else. Like if you work after school or you play a team sport, you're like 80% likely to come into the trade and do very well. Two things, and it's not how your math is. It's not. So I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. And I think we all have to realize that there's a few things that are important. And if you can do those things, you can get in the trade and go as far as you want. And it pays pretty damn good too. The stats say 80% of the people don't like their job. I love my damn job. I get up every day. I can't wait to get in here. I think about it every day. I love it. I love what I do. I don't know anything else. I wouldn't know what the hell I was going to do. Hopefully one day I'll retire and go do something fun with the trade, but I always be in my heart. And I do think us being able to do what we love is fun. And I think people have to really think about what they want to do, but when they see it, and if you're from, like I said, the military really resonates, but it doesn't really matter. Sports, the team, the whole thing about getting something accomplished every day, and you can look back and see it. And I think about all the lines we build everywhere, and you look up and you go, "Wow, how do we do that?" And it's a lot of smart people, a lot of ingenuity. It can make stuff work.
Yeah,
and I'm real proud of it.
If I asked any of the greats that have worked with you in the past, if I asked them what is Duke good at, what would you say?
That's a great question. Probably recognizing people and where they're at in life, and if something's going on, I think I recognize when someone's hurting. I recognize when they're doing great, and I would tell you that I think it's really important, like to be able to see that coming, and also, like I said, you got to skate where they're going, and stay in front of them. I mean, we have all walks of life, and we got guys from Harvard and guys who are in prison. I treat them all the same. My dad always said, you treat the janitor like you treat the CEO. The janitor might be the CEO one day.
Yeah,
I've seen that come true many times.
You're a classic example.
It can happen, yeah. And so I just think you treat everyone the same. And almost all of our leaders really started in the field. Well, they did. I mean, they started in the field, and every single venue, every single president, vice president, even most of the ownership started somewhere in the field. Even, there was 30 plus family members of Blattner that had started in the field. I mean, it's a $2 billion plus organization. And I think that's the key to it, is make sure that we value that, continue to say, it doesn't matter where you start here, it's where you can go. I do think AI, when it comes in and you start ChatGPT, I don't know if you've ever seen that stuff, but holy cow. I wrote my wife something on that thing, and I couldn't even send it to her. It sounded so good.
It's interesting.
That's not me. But like, I do think that thing and the way that it's going to, some engineering will be done like that. I don't think it takes away from anything. If you can build something with your hands and you understand it, you're probably gonna be better off than people that write things every day, because it certainly will learn. And it's almost scary, really, honestly. I don't know where I sit on it yet. I'm thinking through it, but I don't want it to degrade the middle class of this country, because the countries that don't have a middle class, it's bad. It never ends well. And so I do think we have to have a good approach to it and make sure that in the line trade and in welders, anything that we're doing, we stay in front of that and make sure that we're teaching our people the things that it can do, so they're smarter than the machine.
What keeps you up at night?
Wow. Well, safety always. I worry about our men and women in the field probably more than anything. But in general, the company, what I see as arrogance will always get you. And I want to make sure we stay humble and we do good things and we're good. I was at Prefert with Bill Gates and Livestock, and I was talking to Mr. Prefert, and he said, just be good. I agree. Just be good. And I think as long as we keep that in our heart, and the company stays good to our people and ourselves, and we'll be fine. But I worry generationally that we continue to build what we've done and not let people down, and make sure that we honor the toughness that it was while we continue to grow farther up. And that's a balance these days, holy cow. And staying in front, making sure that as a company we're well respected, and that we provide opportunity for the next generation.
How much thought do you give to legacy, and what does yours look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything. The more I can talk about the things that have impacted me and the things that we've done wrong and right. I ain't wrong too. I think it's more important to talk about what you've done wrong, honestly. I do. And, I can't say I'm proud of everything I've done. I've drank too much and many times, and I've done things I'm not proud of. But I will say I've done a lot right too. And just balancing that and making sure the youth that we teach them properly. And I look back at my kids, and we'll see how they turn out. If they turn out better than me, then I'm really happy. I hope so. I know I've taught them wrong from right, and that is really the company too. Like, what is it going to look like with the next people? And did I do a good job mentoring the people under me? And did I teach them everything I know? And did they listen? Because you can teach all day. Are they listening? I don't know. Like, that's the key. Are they listening to you when you're talking? Because if you talk too much, you're not listening. And I short burst of anything. Most people these days have ADD, and they just don't listen much. And I don't blame them. I tune out too. So you got to be, you got to talk, and you got to have something that people want to hear. And that legacy that you leave behind is teaching all those things and making sure that the people underneath you or your family, that you've instilled in them the proper, ways to get ahead. And it's everything. I mean, what I do, hell, I'm going to die, and I'm not going to know, but I hope to God, everything that I've done and taught, it resonates, and, the company continues to build off of what it's done, and my family too. So I value that probably the most out of anything. I was just looking at her, and I was going, shit, I'm going to die. And what did I do? What did I leave enough behind? And so I would say anyone that's faced death, you really realize how important what you leave behind is. And so if I could say one thing, like, think about what you're doing every day, and that apprentice that you're teaching, when you go up in the air and you decide you don't need a safety and you decide you don't need a ground because you're that good, you just taught the guy that didn't something wrong. And when he goes up and does it and he dies, think about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're leaving behind. I'm not wrong. And so I think I look at it like that. And what I'm doing here is the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And I've just seen it. And it's someone taught someone wrong. We owe it to ourselves and really generationally into this trade to get it right. And I would say, at the highest leadership of the unions and the highest leadership of all of our trades, they believe that. I'm 100%, I talk to them all the time. They believe that I've never had an argument about us being safer, ever.
If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what's a piece of advice you'd give him?
Slow down, value my family a little more. When I was young, I think I thought I had to get everything today, and I didn't put the time in, probably until I had cancer, to my family. And I would say value that family time as much as possible.
This industry, speaking for the Powerline industry, but probably all trades are the same, they're notoriously hard on families. What's some advice to managing your family in the industry like this?
A phone call once a day matters. Text your kids matters. Stay in touch, FaceTime. I think that's the beauty of the internet and some of the things we can do with social media is you can stay in touch. And the more you stay in touch, the stronger your family is. And I think just make sure that you lean on people that you need to lean on, and that's what families are for, even your crew, even your people. So in hard times, you lean back and give back. And there's a great book called The Go-Giver, and I always think about it a lot. It's like the more you give, you get back 3 times. So just kind of live my life by that. And I think the more you can give, you'll get it back. And then that goes with family and everything else.
All right, guys, I hope you got a ton of value and you really enjoyed that conversation with Duke Austin. I know I got tons out of it, tons of takeaways from it, and really a good look into the future of our industry. So if you could ask for one favor from you guys, it's go to the YouTube channel, go to whatever audio podcast platform you listen to this podcast on, and make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. 5-star rating would be dope. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Play safe. Peace.